Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm 9 years old. I want to tell you about something I'm embarrassed about and always try to hide. My family doesn't have any money. My mom works at a small cafe where she gets paid very little. My dad repairs old cars. He loves his job, but I've always felt it wasn't very useful. Write your story in the comments. At school, I try to stay silent when everyone discusses what they bought or where they traveled. For example, recently, my classmate Lily had a birthday party and invited the whole class. Everyone gave her cool gifts: a beautiful doll, a portable speaker, and even an iPad. I made a handmade card. I worked hard on it, drawing and decorating it with glitter. But when I gave it to Lily, she just looked at me and said,
"Thanks."
Without even opening my gift, other girls started glancing at each other and giggling. I wanted to disappear from shame. And when Lily's mom was cutting the cake, she gave me a larger slice than the other kids and said,
"Eat up, dear. You don't get this at home, do you?"
She didn't mean to hurt me, but the other kids started giggling again. I was so upset that I ran home without even touching the cake. A couple of weeks later, all my classmates went to a water park. But I stayed home. The tickets were too expensive, and I didn't even bother asking my parents. The next day at school, everyone was talking about how amazing it was.
Did you see that giant spiral slide?
And the wave pool?
Everyone was talking at once. When my friend Lily asked me why I hadn't gone, all I could say was, I was busy. I felt so hurt I almost cried. Deep down, I became angrier at my parents. Why can't we afford anything? Why do I have to be ashamed of everything? What makes me worse than the other kids? The next day at school, they announced that we would be having a Halloween celebration. Everyone had to dress up as their favorite character, and there would be a prize for the best costume. The whole class was excited, talking about what costumes they'd wear. I just sat silently, holding my head. I knew there was no way I could dress up as my favorite Princess Elsa because the dress was way too expensive for my parents. That evening at dinner, I told my parents about the upcoming school celebration. Dad immediately started coming up with ideas on how to make an Elsa dress from trash bags and old magazines. I instantly imagined the whole school laughing at me and calling me a trash princess. I couldn't take it and shouted, "Why don't we ever have money? Can't you get jobs like other parents in big offices or stores that pay more?" Mom didn't say anything, just looked down. Dad calmly replied,
"Emily, life isn't as simple as it seems to you. In time, you'll understand."
I didn't believe him. To me, those were just empty words. The night before Halloween, Dad came into my room with a garment bag in his hands.
"Where's my princess?"
When I opened the bag and saw the costume, I couldn't believe it. It was a stunning Elsa-style dress with glitter and lace. "Where did you get this?" I asked Dad, but he just smiled at me. At the school festival, everyone looked at me with admiration. This was my moment of happiness.
"Emily, this is gorgeous. I'd give anything for a dress like that."
My friend Lily said. She was dressed as a rock star, and her guitar looked very familiar.
"Your dad sold it to my parents."
She said, noticing my gaze. I was shocked. At that moment, I realized my dad had given up the most valuable thing he owned, all so that I could feel special for one evening. I couldn't be angry anymore. I felt ashamed of the things I had said to my parents and wanted to make it right. I offered to trade my beautiful dress for the guitar. Lily agreed and was very happy. But I was even happier. When Dad came home that evening, I greeted him with, "Where's my favorite rocker?" and handed him his guitar. He never thought he'd see it again, so he was in total shock. I hugged him tightly and said, "I'm sorry. I was silly and didn't understand how much you loved me." Dad couldn't hold back a tear and hugged me back. Now, I'm no longer ashamed of my family. Yes, we don't have much money, but we have the most important things: love and support. If you ever feel like you have nothing, remember, the most important thing in life is parents who are willing to sacrifice what they hold dear just to see you smile. The next week, a new girl named Scarlet joined our class. She had lots of freckles. We became friends right away. And over lunch, she told me her story.
"Hi, my name is Scarlet. I'm 9 years old, and today I finally want to share my biggest problem. I'm very self-conscious about my appearance. My parents say I'm cute, but I don't believe them. I have unruly hair that never behaves the way I want it to. My face is covered in freckles, which seem to take up more space than anything else, and I have one tooth that's just a little crooked. It's my biggest nightmare. My friends, Liv and Claire, always look perfect. Liv can curl her golden hair to make it look like she walked straight off a magazine cover. Claire comes to school with flawless skin and gorgeous long lashes. Next to them, I feel plain and insignificant. One day, Liv said to me,
Scarlet, you should try straightening your hair. I can lend you my flat iron, though with your hair it might not even work.
Claire smiled and added,
You've got something on your face. Oh no, wait, it's just your freckles.
They said it jokingly, but I felt awkward and out of place. Things got even worse when we were preparing for the school play. Our teacher was assigning roles, and I desperately wanted to be the princess. Instead, I was given the role of the witch. Liv and Claire got the main roles, the queen and the princess. When I got home, I threw the script on the table and said, They think I'm ugly. That's why I'm the witch. Mom looked at me with concern and asked,
Do you really think that? Your looks come from me and your dad.
I just shouted, Of course, yes, look at me. With my crooked tooth, I'm only good enough to play a witch. I locked myself in my room and cried all evening. At the first rehearsal, the teacher came up to me and said,
Scarlet, your role is very important. The witch isn't just a scary villain. She's a character that shows strength, intelligence, and personality.
But I wasn't listening. I saw Liv and Claire laughing in the corner and felt small and unimportant. At home, Mom suggested,
Why don't you make a costume that shows who you really are? You can be a witch, but a stylish and strong one.
I thought, why not? It couldn't get any worse. Mom and I spent the whole day creating my costume. We found an old dress and decorated it with glitter, adding a belt with metal details. I made earrings from Mom's old jewelry, and Dad found Grandma's old hat in the attic, which was the perfect finishing touch. When I put on the costume, I felt a little more confident. Finally, the day of the play arrived. Liv was the first to perform. She looked beautiful. Her hairstyle was perfect, but her lines felt hollow. Then Claire went on. She acted well, but the audience stayed quiet. When it was my turn, I decided, if I'm going to be a witch, I'll be a witch they'll remember. I went on stage hunched like an old woman with one eye popping out. It grabbed the audience's attention immediately. I delivered my lines loudly and confidently, trying to make them engaging. I noticed the audience smiling and clapping. After the play, the teacher approached us.
Scarlet, you were amazing. Your performance outshone everyone else's, and your costume, it's the best I've ever seen in a school play.
I saw Liv and Claire exchanging glances. They still looked beautiful, but their faces showed uncertainty. The next day, Claire came up to me and said,
Scarlet, your costume was just incredible. You looked cool.
And Liv added,
Yeah, it even made me want to be a witch.
At that moment I realized, it's not about freckles or hair, it's about how you feel about yourself. If you're confident, people see you differently. Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't see that weird girl with freckles. I see myself, strong, stylish, and unique. If you ever doubt your appearance, remember, true beauty is confidence and how you carry yourself. Recently, a new family moved into the house next door. They had a girl my age, and we quickly became friends and started spending time together. One day, she shared her story with me.
Hi, my name is Sasha. I'm 9 years old, and I want to share a secret I've never told anyone before. I have really kind parents, but to be honest, I'm often embarrassed by them. They don't do anything bad, it's just that they're, well, too weird. Take my dad, for example. He loves to act like a stand-up comedian, but his jokes are so old, they were probably around when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Yesterday, for instance, he said,
Why can't pizza be square? Because then it would be a box.
Lol. But I wanted to roll my eyes so hard they'd disappear. And then there's my mom. She always tries to stay in the loop and on my wavelength. Last week, I was telling her about downloading a new game, and she said,
Bruh, you're such a pro, totally top tier.
I turned red because my friend was nearby. He barely held back his laughter, and Mom added,
No cap, bro, I'm not cringing.
My friend couldn't hold it in and started laughing, and I just wanted to curl up like a hedgehog from all the cringe. But the most embarrassing moment happened at last year's school fair. My parents decided to make the funniest stand. When they told me they'd be wearing costumes, I knew something was up. Dad dressed up as a banana, and Mom danced around him with a pineapple on her head. I stood there, red as a tomato, thinking, why did they have to choose those costumes? And when Mom started performing the ancient pen, pineapple, apple pen trend for every customer, I thought I'd die of embarrassment. Afterward, everyone at school teased me for a week.
Hey, Sasha, how are your fruits doing?
After the fair, I begged them not to embarrass me in front of my classmates again and to be more serious. But they just teased me and didn't listen. I started avoiding them and barely told them what was going on in my life. I kept thinking, why can't I have normal parents like everyone else? But then, everything changed. Our school announced a talent show. I decided this was my chance to shine. I love singing, but I'd never performed in front of a big audience. Of course, Mom immediately got involved.
Let's pick a song together and do a duet. It'll be epic.
I immediately said no, because Mom is unpredictable. Performing on stage with Mom as a pineapple would be something the school would never let me live down. I decided to prepare on my own, so no one could interfere. Every day I practiced at home while my parents were busy doing their own thing. Everything was going well until the day of the performance. I was so nervous that my hands were shaking, and I kept thinking, if I forget the lyrics, it'll be a total disaster. Right before I went on stage, Dad came up to me. I least wanted to hear one of his prehistoric jokes at that moment, but this time he didn't joke. Instead, he said,
Sasha, want to know a secret? If you're scared of the stage, just imagine the audience wearing banana costumes.
I laughed. It was so ridiculous, but it helped me relax. When I went on stage, I imagined the whole audience as people in banana costumes, and the judges as pineapples. And you know what? I sang beautifully. The audience applauded, my friends congratulated me, and it was one of the best moments of my life. But the real surprise came afterward. After the performance, I saw my parents. Mom came up to me and said,
We're so proud of you. You're a real star.
And then I noticed they were holding a huge homemade poster that said, Our Sasha is top tier. They were also wearing homemade badges with my picture on them. I thought, well, yeah, they're weird, but that's their thing. They're not afraid to be themselves and live the way they want. They don't care what others think of them, and that makes them free. Now, when Mom says something funny or Dad starts singing in the car, I smile. Yes, I still roll my eyes sometimes, but deep down, I understand. Being yourself is awesome. And no one, not even me, has the right to take that away from my parents. If you ever feel embarrassed by your parents, remember, no matter how quirky they are, they love you sincerely. And that makes them the coolest people in your life.